Hi, it's Georgia. Thanks for joining me again. Today it's something fairly quick and simple. It's a silk screen. So I have got Fimo Brilliant Blue, which I've rolled out on 0 on my Atlas 150, and I've textured the back with a sponge, which I run through the pasta machine at the same time as the clay. So I'm burnishing it to the tile. And the paint that I'm using is Decoart Fuschia Pop. I get my silk screens, I am in the UK, and I get mine off of Etsy from a lady who runs Bebrightnblissful. She has an amazing selection of them, so if you are in the UK, I do recommend her. So I burnish that onto the clay and then add the paint on the top. It's quite a thick paint, so it does go through nicely. Sometimes if they're a bit thin, they do bleed a bit, but this is a good paint to use. I go in several different directions to make sure that it's pushed through the silk screen, and I am using, I think it's a silicone brush. I know some people do use cards, but I always use the brush and I find that works well. So that goes off into warm water so that the paint doesn't dry on it. And what I'm using here, I'm showing you, is I'm not using cornstarch, because if the paint's a little bit wet, the cornstarch could stick to the clay. So what I'm using is a sponge which has been sprayed with son of a gun, which is a protectant. And I leave it in that little container so it's always ready for when I want to use it. So cutting out, sticking in cutters as always. I do think the next lot I do are a bit better. I'm not doing many here. It's just I had to do them for someone, so I thought I'd film what I was doing. I always try and use up as much of the clay as I can, and I'll make studs with those later, but they're not actually used with these earrings. And I put the cutters over the clay again because that gives a cleaner finish. So that's the first ones, clearing off the edges so that there's very little sanding to be done at the end. And they'll be baked for an hour at 110 degrees centigrade as recommended by Fimo. So this colour now is Tropical Green, once again by Fimo, and once again rolled out at 0 on my Atlas 150 and textured at the back. Just tidying the edges off a bit, and this time I'm going to be using System 3, I think it's called, and it's an acrylic paint, and the colour is Buff Titan. I don't know where the Titan comes from. And I'll wash that, and that's the son of a gun that I use. I love the name of this, the son of a gun, which I spray onto that little sponge, which I keep in a sealed container so it's always ready for whenever I want to use it. And once again using the same cutters for the long dangles, and then a slightly different shield shape for the other two. And this time I have better luck with them not getting stuck in the cutters. Always find if you do a few more studs, you can always use them later on for other things. So tidying all those up again. And they will go in with the Brilliant Blue and the Fuschia Pop. I do love the colour combination on the Fuschia Blue. Sorry, not Fuschia Blue. Brilliant Blue and Fuschia Pop. I'm joining my words together there. This is what they look like. If you've enjoyed this, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.